I've been holding this for quite some time, and it's about time I share it with you guys. This is actually no joke. This is true. Now, at the end of the story, I got a disclosure that you guys got to listen to, because may not affect everybody. So, one night after working, I wake up in the morning and I feel my stomach is in a cramp. I'm like, oh man, I got some food poisoning. And I was like, this is not good. And I really don't get food poisoning that often. And I just felt terrible. And my stomach was just in a cramp. It hurt. And I was like, I'm about to throw up. So due to the fact that I have an upset stomach, I went to Walmart and I bought some pomegranate juice, some ginger ale, some Sprite, just so I can feel better. And as soon as I drank that, I threw up water right away. Mind you, I was not throwing up any food. Now, here's the thing. During this day, you got to keep in mind, during this day, I felt something on the back of my leg, something that felt like a bruise. And I was like, oh, I just got a bruise, it'll go away. So the day goes on, I'm still feeling bad. I start my shift and I'm trucking. Okay, I'm trucking. I get a call from my friend. I tell him, man, I don't feel so good. He's like, go buy yourself some Coca-Cola and see if that helps. Which I went and did. I drank some, I threw up once or twice, and then it felt good. I felt perfect. My body temperature felt perfect, and I was trucking along just feeling just fine. Towards the last 4 hours of my shift, I started feeling terrible again. And this time, I felt like I was shivering. And mind you, it's 70 degrees outside, which means I'm supposed to be running the AC in the truck, but I ended up running a heat in the truck, and I could not get any warmer. I was shivering. I was just feeling terrible. And mind you, when I was loading, I knocked myself out for 20 minutes just to fall asleep, because that's how bad I felt. Then I barely made it back to the yard. I just felt so terrible. When I got to the yard, after I was done trucking, I just sat there for 15 minutes because I didn't have any strength in me, because I just felt terrible. I was like, I gotta rest some before I even move. Went home, and just to realize I was still shivering really bad, I found out that I had a temperature of 106. Yes, 106, guys. The light in my room looked green. Keep in mind that after 106, you can go into a coma or have brain damage. My wife helped me bring my temperature down. We put vinegar on my forehead and feet, and we were able to bring it down to 102, about 103, but we could not break the fever. I could not break my fever. It was just terrible. No matter how much vinegar we put, whatever I was drinking was not helping. And then next morning, I noticed that I had something reddish on the front of my leg. Then I started to notice that it was getting worse, and my fever still could not break. And I went through day number 2 with a fever about 102, 103 the entire day, with my leg getting worse. Then the next day, when I got up from the bed, I could barely get up. I almost collapsed instantly, because that's how much shooting pain I had in my leg. That's when I decided it was time to go to urgent care. So I went to urgent care, and I found out what I had. I had cellulitis. Yes, I had cellulitis, a bacterial infection in the blood and the skin. Yes, and I got there to the urgent care in time. They told me, they did my blood test and said I had messed up blood and I had to go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital, and I had to get antibiotics through IV for about 2 nights. So I was there altogether 3 days, and cellulitis was pretty bad. I tell you that. Cellulitis is pretty bad. If you want to Google that, Google it, because I'm not going to show my leg or anything, but it was bad. So my body improved in the hospital. The redness in the front of my leg went away, but the redness in the back of my leg did not go away, and it puffed up like a sponge, and it was just terrible. And I still had shooting pain even when I left the hospital. It was hard to walk for a couple of days, and I had to keep my foot level upright when I was sleeping, and I had to take antibiotics for a week, oral antibiotics for a week. And then when it started to heal, the back of my leg started healing like a muffler burn. So if you ever been burned by a muffler on your leg or anywhere else in the part of the body, you know how that heals. Skin would start coming out, yellow stuff and blood would start coming out of my wound. And yes, that's how bad the cellulitis infection I had. Thankfully, Jesus helped me go through this and helped me heal. It was all through him that I'm still alive today. Because if I would have not went to the hospital, I could have died. Or I could have had my leg cut off if it was too late. Also, the reason why I had such a high fever is my body went into sepsis, which is basically your body goes into shock, you get fever, you get vomiting, the body's trying to fight off the infection on its own, but it's having a hard time to do so. As of right now, my cellulitis infection is thankfully gone, but the wound is still there, and the wound is healing, and I heard rumors that, yes, I could have a scar left in my leg, the back of my leg, for life because of that. I am here to tell you, though, that the source of my bacterial infection is basically from jet fuel, or possibly from jet fuel. Not saying that it is, but it could be possibly, because the bacteria that infected my blood and my leg, that bacteria is also found growing in jet fuel. Jet fuel and diesel, keep in mind, is oily, so bacteria and algae could grow in it. Gas, on the other hand, is like a cleaner, and as far as I know, bacteria and algae cannot grow in gasoline. Here's a disclosure I would like to tell you guys. Yes, this bacteria is found in jet fuel, but it does not mean it came from jet fuel. And why I think it could be coming from jet fuel is because in the past year, I have spilled jet fuel on my feet, not leg, feet, accidentally twice. And all those 2 times that I have accidentally spilled jet fuel on me, I've been wearing my shoes, not my waterproof boots, which was a mistake. I was a little bit uncomfortable with my feet, so I decided to wear shoes when I was unloading jet fuel instead of boots, and I learned my lesson well. Now, like I said again, I'm not saying that this bacterial infection is from jet fuel, but that bacteria is found in jet fuel. So don't think that I'm blaming jet fuel for it. No, I just got to be more careful now. The funny part is the fact that every time I wear shoes, I spill something on myself, like while unloading. So always wear boots, because it'll protect your feet if you're doing work like this. And today I'm recording this video because of Jesus. He has healed. I don't care what YouTube's gonna say. I'm a Christian, okay? And I'm not ashamed to tell you guys about the story. All I want you to say is, whatever trucking industry you choose, you always got to be careful. And guys, you got to keep on trucking no matter what. As of right now, my cellulitis infection is almost gone. And thankfully, I am trucking down the road. Not canceled. Guys, I'm Eddie B. 2004 Turn right. Driving attempt on the 6 Series.